Storm's End by Martin Wilsey. "Please, it's coming," Lita said as blood dripped from her nose into her mouth. She couldn't wipe it away with her hands cuffed behind her back. "You have to let me go. It's the only way it doesn't kill everyone in this colony. Please." "It?" "My men on the ground said it's one man on foot coming this way." They were on the large shuttle pad located on the roof of a central colony admin building. It was the tallest building in the small city. The pad was used for local air transport as well as small to medium spacecraft. As lightning flashed in the distance, the town around them looked deserted. Being 5 stories up gave Burl Whitaker a good vantage of the streets surrounding the building and the square below. Burl hated brutalist architecture. All that concrete and right angles made him angry. Most things made him angry, especially whiny bitches. "You need to know that thing is insane. It's a Jovian-class soldier, or what's left of one. All hate and combat chassis. It's just shaped like a man," Lita was pleading. Burl was holding her up on her knees by a handful of her black hair. "It's been hired to come after me. It is not a man." "Bullshit. The last one of those abominations self-destructed over 100 years ago. No civilized or uncivilized world ever made another," Burl said. "Besides, the shuttle will be here soon." The wind was picking up in the darkness. The sky of this god-forsaken planet was always cloudy with a fine rust-colored dust that filled the air. The lightning was getting closer. Hastings was just another shitty planet, a shitty colony, and a shitty science station for Awareness, Inc. And a good paycheck. Burl smiled into the storm. "Squad 6, take up positions on Main Street South. The outer spotters say he's coming straight in. Ambush formation Delta, alleys and doorways. Mind the crossfire lanes," Whitaker said into his comm unit. "Please, you have to believe me." She was desperate. "Just let me go and we can all live. Otherwise that thing will come in here pissed off. With a bounty on your head, there's no way you're getting away this time. Alive, you are worth 10 million credits to me. 5 million if I just bring in your dead body. If I bring you into the Awareness, Inc. front office on Mars, they told me 10 mil, and they don't even care that I am a long-time employee. You can't let it take me. How soon before your ship gets here?" she sobbed. "Please." An obvious mushroom cloud followed another flash just beyond the horizon in the distance. A lightning storm surrounded the maelstrom. When the second nuclear explosion erupted, Burl was lucky to be scanning the sky above for the shuttle. The flash would have blinded him. All the lights in the town went out, including the landing lights on the shuttle pad. "Fuck," Burl growled as he dragged Lita to the center of the landing pad. He threw her down and holstered his sidearm. Burl put his boot on her shoulders and held her there with a foot as he dug into his tactical vest. He began lighting flares and tossing them in a complete circle around the perimeter of the landing pad. "Rumors were you were some huge badass. Ha! Look at you now, dressed like a whore just to get close to me. For what?" She wore an outfit that left nothing to the imagination. Clear panels that revealed thighs, arms, breasts, and buttocks. The rest was white to complement her olive skin and black hair. Hair like that he didn't see very often. In space, all the women cut it short. He fucking hated short hair. But Burl Whitaker appreciated art. Those clothes were a work of art. Better still, there was zero chance she could hide a weapon of any kind. Burl looked at her with disgust as she sobbed, her face wet with tears, blood still trickling from her nose. The fine dust clung to tear trails on her face. "Look, it's not a man. The brain is still in there somewhere, but after 300 years of pain and horror, what shred of humanity would be left that is not soaked in PTSD and nightmares? It's coming. We need to hurry." Lita sobbed as she struggled to her knees. Nearly impossible with her hands cuffed behind her, her breasts strained against the material, distracting Whitaker. Suddenly she jumped up and was on her feet, stumbling to the edge from the center of the landing pad. Burl knew she intended to throw herself off rather than be taken. He tripped her and she fell on her face hard just short of the rim. Burl could understand. He'd seen Awareness Inc.'s render program reduce children to blood and screams. Burl grabbed a handful of hair and dragged her back up to her knees in full view of the street below. Her sobbing increased. Burl Whitaker liked that. Some badass she was, he thought sarcastically. Daniels, what's your status? Burl barked into the comm unit. Burl, we need to get the fuck out of Dodge, Daniels replied. Someone just nuked the spaceport, the weapons depot, and the lab complex with the power plant. You'd better be ready for a touch and go. I'm ready. There are only 2 of us on this pad. Do you have the portable stasis pod? Awareness Inc. wants her alive. I still don't trust this bitch. We will deliver her frozen. Yes, stasis pod is standing by. ETA is about 10 minutes, Daniels answered. If there's another nuke, the EMP might kill my comms. I lit flares. You have the coordinates, Burl confirmed. Roger that, Daniels closed. Squad 6, are you in position? Burl Whitaker knew it was more a command than a question. Affirmative, the squad commander acknowledged over the comms. Squad 8 and 9, nothing gets inside the admin building. Am I clear? Whitaker ordered. We're sealing off the stairwells now, came over the comms. You are not taking any of them with you? She said. It won't matter. Daniels, watch for the shock waves, Whitaker ordered. Touching down just after, Daniels replied. Burl knew that it would be easy to get rid of Daniels once this Lita bitch was in stasis. There would be no splitting this bounty. He'd retire somewhere nice after Awareness Inc. pays. He knew they were good for it. He'd worked for them for decades. They always paid. Do you know why they want me so bad? Why that killing machine someone hired wants me so bad? Lita asked with her cheek still pressed to the cement. Why the bounty is so high? I don't care, Whitaker said, watching the horizon. I was one of the render experiments that got away, Lita said just before the roll of thunder. The first blast wave hit in the form of a mighty gust of wind and driven dust. Burl could see it coming, backlit by the fireballs still rising. Lightning increased. Burl felt the concussions of the thunder in his chest. He leaned into the hurricane-force winds while they lasted, hoping the fallout would be minimal. The flares in the mushroom clouds remained. The storm was getting worse. In the next flash of lightning, the vacant main street was illuminated below. Burl saw a lone figure walking. A long black ragged cloak was blowing in the wind from behind. Even at that distance, Burl could see the lights of its glowing red eyes between flashes. He's walking right into an ambush, Burl laughed. Whoever this asshole is, he'll be resting in pieces in a couple of minutes. You don't understand. Panic was rising in Lita's voice. It's not a who, it's a what. You gotta get the ship here fast. If it takes me like this, it will rip my arms and legs off like the wings off a fly, before dropping me in a stasis pod or a goddamn cooler. It doesn't care if I live. And throw away 5 million credits? Burl scoffed. It doesn't care about money, she screamed and struggled to get to the ledge once more. She was stopped by Whitaker again by the hair. He enjoyed that. Using his grip, he forced her to look at the street. She froze at the view of the scene below. An extended arc of lightning revealed the figure surrounded by a dozen armed men in the street below, but he kept walking as if they were not there. Darkness fell again, and gunfire erupted. A laser blast was somehow reflected back, causing the laser rifle to explode in the shooter's hands. A few seconds later, more lightning illuminated the carnage. All of the men in Squad 6 were dead. Most of their heads were no longer on their shoulders. Long curved black blades were in the figure's hands as he walked, never changing his pace. Please, there's still time. We need to go, she begged. Swords. You gotta be fucking kidding me. Into the comm. Daniels. Burl sounded worried. Where the fuck are you? Burl pushed her down onto her face and put a boot between her shoulders again to hold her down. He needed both hands. He shifted the comm unit to his left hand and drew his sidearm with his right. Touching down in 3 minutes. It's too late, Lita said. Her tone had changed entirely. Burl put the comm unit into a thigh pocket. He suddenly sensed her relax under his boot. It'll never get up here in time. There are 5 stories and 35 heavily armed men in this building. He felt less confident than he sounded. Not anymore. Lita's voice was more formidable now, like steel dripping with spite. It happened in less than a blink of an eye. Burl's hand and the blaster it held disappeared into the darkness. The silhouette of a man wearing a long, torn, billowing cloak stepped out of the shadows and stood before him, silhouetted by the flares. But it wasn't a man. Its terrifying eyes glowed red like it was filled with magma. A sword retracted into its arm. In a voice straight from the nightmares that Burl felt as well as heard, it roared, "Is this the one?" Burl took an involuntary step back from the spectre, taking his boot off Lita's back, offering Lita up to the terrible thing. "Yes," Lita replied as she neatly rolled to her back and with one quick, easy motion slid her cuffed hands under her bottom as she tumbled backward to her feet away from the edge. She was graceful as a gymnast. A second later, the cuffs fell to the roof. "Do you need his head?" the voice thundered. "No," Lita replied in a voice that was impossibly more frightening than the monster's voice. "You and I have met before." Her tone was more frightening than the blood gushing from the stump where his right hand should be. More frightening than the ledge at his heels or the monster towering behind her. "I am Render 9, she growled. Burl died instantly on impact. Lita's kick to his chest was so hard he crashed into the building across the street before crumbling to the sidewalk in a bloody heap far below. "The eyes are a new thing, Ty. I didn't know you could do that," Lita said conversationally as she retrieved Burl's blaster and gave it to Ty. Tossing Burl's severed hand over the edge, Lita began casually brushing off dirt from her outfit. "You like it, the eyes?" Ty asked in a perfectly normal human tone. The eyeball covers swung back into place, making his face look human again. Blinking repeatedly, he said, "It will take forever to get the dust out of them now." Ty looked at her clothes. "That is quite the ensemble you're wearing. Yikes." Looking up from her breasts to her face, he said, "Tears? Sobbing? Really? That's new. I let him punch my face while I was stalling. It turns out that it will make my eyes water. I couldn't kill him until I was sure of his ship coming." She laughed. "Was the sobbing act too much for the open comm channel? I had to distract him and stall for time." "You cut me to the quick with all that it talk," Ty said. "And the pleading for him to kill you. I thought you liked this body." "I do." "I do like it, but with you in proximity, this body could die, and you could just recover the render module and install me in another one, like last time." "I've done that 4 times now. It's messy and expensive, and it breaks my heart every time," Ty said. "Me too. And you know I love you, Ty," she added, casually fixing her hair. "Even if I am a monster?" Ty asked. Lita took Ty's face into her hands. It was almost the only part of him with real organic skin. "I love you because you are a monster," Lita said sincerely. "My monster." "I know you are, but what am I?" Ty said playfully and kissed her. She hugged his combat frame like she always did, climbing him, wrapping one leg around him, too. Before she let go, she asked, "Why did you nuke everything?" "While looking for you, I found a weapons stockpile, and another Awareness Inc. render lab. I could not take the weapons with me or allow them to continue these experiments, so the lesson here is never to store your remote detonators with your nukes." "Amateurs," he shrugged. "Why did you mess about so long with Burl if he was your target all along?" "He was the chief of security at the Awareness Inc. lab where they, she looked into Ty's eyes, made me into a monster." She looked up at the descending shuttle. She put her hands behind her back, pretending to still be cuffed in case Daniels could see her. "I wanted Burl Whitaker's ship. We do still have more places to go and asswipes to kill. It was the only way to get his ship to come to me. I could have killed him whenever I wanted." "Damn it," Ty said as he looked up and identified the ship. "Another old S-22. Why me? What did I do to deserve this? The oldest faster-than-light ship there is? Maybe as old as me? Damn it, why for once can't it be a nice Corsair 211 or Westdale yacht?" He was complaining to amuse Lita. They hopped onto the open cargo bay ramp before the landing gear touched down. Daniels, the pilot, was only expecting 2, just not these 2. She smiled, showing her still bloody teeth. "I think if he cooperates and turns the ship over nicely, we should give him the choice of altitude when he gets out," Ty said, moving toward the hatch. "Look at you getting all soft and polite," she said. She was playfully walking backward in front of Ty as his eyes uncovered, revealing the magma glow, and his voice shifting to horror mode. He held up another remote detonator. I still get to decide where we drop him off, Ty rumbled. Lita and Ty, the monsters, both laughed. This has been Storm's End by Martin Wilsey, a tale from Lumina Station, narrated by David McCord. Audio and print copyright by Tannhauser Press, all rights reserved.